everyone. So on episode 9 today, I'm joined by another lovely virtual guest, Miss Ellie Moody. Hello.
Hi guys.
And also just please notice Ellie's very aesthetically pleasing background. She's like, actually, I mean, look at this.
I watch too much YouTube. She's getting a candle.
She's putting us to shame here, literally. Like, she answered the phone and I was like, oh my God, look at your background. Like, I really need to up my game here. I'm very minimal. Like, I literally love hers. So anyone who knows me will know Ellie is one of my best friends. It might be confusing because it's like Ellie and Ellie. But yeah, Ellie's been one of my best friends. What, like, how long? 11 years?
Well, I mean, like, we're like to tell the story to every single
go on, I'll let you tell the story. Well, also, if people are like avid podcast listeners, they'll know that Ellie has been in an episode before with Lauren when we could actually see each other, so that's a bit depressing. In the summer, yes, very depressing, when we're done it like a funny Who's Most Likely To. So people might recognise Ellie from that, but that wasn't when the podcast was visual as well, so you might not have seen her. So this is putting the face to the name. But I'll let you tell the story.
Oh, so honestly, we must tell this story of every single person we meet. Everyone we know has probably heard it about 55 times. Yeah. So on the first day of year 7, so I came from a primary school where there was only like 5 or 6 of us came to this school, and you were the same reason, weren't you? It wasn't many.
I think 5 came from my primary school, so it wasn't a lot at all.
So I remember we had to do this like trust exercise, and we were sat on the little steps in the if anyone knows our school, North Lodge Dining Hall, we were sat on the little steps in the dining hall, and we had to get put in partners. And obviously me and Ellie didn't really know anyone because there wasn't many people we came with. Looking back, why did we ever do that? Go to a primary school without many people?
You know what it is? I remember, I think Parkview originally wasn't my first choice, I don't think.
I remember you saying that.
I swear I'd put in, I mean, if you're not from like the northeast, like our part of the northeast, you're not going to have a clue what schools we're talking about. But basically, I think I put Lord Lawson, which was another school nearby, as my first choice because more of my friends were going there. But then I'm sure like I was humming and hawing, and then I left it too late, and then I think Parkview was my second choice. But I mean, looking back, I'm glad, you know. God, I wouldn't have met you, I wouldn't have met any of my friends, I wouldn't have met my boyfriend, like, life would have been a lot different. So yeah, thinking about it, it was very weird that there was literally only like 5 people from your primary school and 5 from mine. But it worked out in the end.
Exactly. So we were sat on these little steps and we had to do a trust exercise, and I think we must have looked around and thought like, oh, like who are we going to go with? Yeah. So we were just sat next to each other, and then we were like, hi. And Ellie at the time was wearing like a gold like hair bow, but like not just like a little clip. It was like honestly like this gold hair bow like this on like the first or second day of year 7, and I was like, oh my God, I love your gold hair bow. And then Ellie was like, oh my God, thank you. And we were like, what's your name? And she was like, Ellie. And I was like, my name's Ellie too. So the rest was history.
The rest was history, yeah. I mean,
and then we also got
with my gold hair, but was the school even allowed? Like, that's so off-brand for a uniform, like a giant gold hair bow.
Then as well, we got paid to do this trust exercise. Because bearing in mind, Ellie's what, 4'11", 5 foot, and I'm 5'8", so I don't think the trust exercise was going to be working the other way around.
Yeah, but I mean, I still remember like it was yesterday, sitting on them steps.
The rest look where we are now.
Look at us now, not being able to see each other and having to communicate this.
Exactly. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? But yes, I've obviously got Ellie on as a guest again, just because she's a great guest. But we're actually talking about something. Well, we're talking about business today, which is strange. I mean, us two business. Like what? So basically, for those who don't know, I was going to say if you've been living under a rock, that's so rude, isn't Yeah, for those who don't know, Ellie and our sister Eve, who can't join us today because she's in sixth form, so she's got our virtual Zooms at the minute, this week. So Ellie is talking on their behalf. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Eve and Ellie started up a cake making business in March.
Well, no, it was actually May would have been the time.
Yes.
Because I feel like we were like humming and hawing from like March, but it was like May when it was.
Yeah, so in May, so I mean, you're nearly a year in. We're in the new year, God, in February now. It's absolutely mad. So yeah, their cake page is Evel. I mean, for obvious reasons, we don't need to explain that. And it's at Evel Bakes on Instagram. But if you're watching the YouTube version, I'll like leave the tag as well. Or if you go on my Instagram, you'll see I follow them. But yeah, I wanted to talk to Ellie about this today because at the end of the day, we're all in lockdown, and lockdown chat is, let's be serious, like 90% negative. Like, I love it when there's something, like some silver lining to come out of like the past year. And for you, that's obviously been the cake business. Like, they've been, I mean, I'm going to say it on Ellie's behalf because Ellie's very humble and she will not brag about herself, or her and Eve, obviously. But it's been very successful. Like you said, you were humming and hawing because you were like, oh, it was always a hobby. Like, do you take it down the business route or whatever? But for being less than a year, like, yous have smashed it and done amazing. And if you just go on the Instagram, yous will see that. But yeah, I'll let you sort of give a bit of a backstory because, like you said, you were humming and hawing, and then you were furloughed, and it sort of was a bit like perfect timing, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, really, it was like, for anyone who doesn't know, I have a 16-year-old sister, and to be honest, it was more her who was always into doing cakes. Like, she made me a cake for my 21st birthday last year, like this big gold one, very like on trend with the drips and everything, like what we do now. And I'd always bake, like, you know, like on the weekends, and because obviously I work full time, so I would bake like on the weekends, that kind of thing. But obviously she had more time, so she started to get into more of like the trend cakes. And I put out a tweet like, oh, this must have been just after my 21st birthday, so like 2 years, what year are we even in, 2 years ago now, it would have been.
Well, so yeah, because you're 23, yeah, so like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I put out a tweet saying, like, if anyone is thinking of like getting a cake, like my sister's like really into it as a hobby at the minute. Like,
because I remember, I mean, like Eve, I'm sure she won't mind us saying, like, she's not like, she's such a confident girl in a lot of aspects, but then in terms of like something like that where we're like us being older than her, being like, Eve, no, you're literally amazing at this. He was like, yeah, but we're like, no, you should like seriously do this. It was like, it was a bit of a like, no, like a confidence thing. And I think probably you putting that tweet out like sparked a bit of a like, oh, maybe like we could do it.
That was the thing, because a couple of girls like who we know from school, like they got cakes for their like brother's 18th birthday within like 2 weeks of each other. And like Eve was like, oh, this is actually like, she's really enjoying doing it. I was like helping her out, like if she needed it and all that. So then when lockdown hit, we were obviously, I was at home because I was furloughed like from the offset of lockdown, and we both had more time. So when it was like family's birthdays and stuff, we were like, we're going to bake a cake. So we kind of put together her like doing the on trend of like the drip cakes, and then me doing like the home baking kind of thing, and we just put it together. And then we were baking more for family and things like that. And then we thought, you know what, like, why don't we just do it? And like, as you say, like Eve almost needed like the push to like do it ourselves, but almost didn't want to do it ourselves. So us doing it together was like the perfect thing.
Yeah, like the perfect thing. Yeah, because I mean, I remember like mine and James's first, well, our anniversary date is the 8th of May, and like I said to you, didn't I? And I was like, oh, mate, this is like some cakes for James, and then like some of them were like one of the first photos. So like if you scroll back, like you see them, and it's like, it's mad because it almost feels like 2 seconds ago where I was like, will you make us some cupcakes? And I'm like, now it's like a full-on established business.
But the thing is, like, we look back even like down the Instagram of like some of the first things, and we just think of like how we've learned so much in the time. Is like, which I feel like we have been really lucky because we've had this time where obviously I've been off work for a long time, and Eve's been like off sixth form, so our days have been spent like doing like learning things, and we've been able to try out new designs because obviously not every customer is the same, they want something different, so we just
definitely.
as the weeks go on we just get to try out even more stuff.
I think it just shows, like, it's so cliche, but I do love it that like everything does happen for a reason, in terms of like, if you hadn't had that time off together, you
Yeah,
you know, you might have done it, say, for like friends and family, whatever, but you might have thought, oh listen, we don't have time to like, although we love it, to do that. And I think even when things do go back to normal, I think now at least you have had the experience of like knowing how to manage your time and like
yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Whereas if you hadn't had this like sort of year off, you might have just been like, oh my god, we can never do that.
I know. Well, that's the thing, like, because as well, like, it's not an uncommon thing. A lot of people, like, locally do make cakes and that kind of thing. But we just thought, well, if we don't do it as well, like, we're gonna almost then be kind of like left behind. Like, if we start in like 2 years' time, we might have wished we'd done it like a year ago or 2 years ago. So I think like that goes for same for like for most people who were thinking of setting something up. Like, you have just got to like take that plunge, like, because you've just got to think, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, I
You know
know,
what
this is it.
I mean? Like,
It's like anything, and I think at the minute, like even people we sort of like know or know of went to school. Like if I've seen like in this past year they've like set something up or like whatever it is, I'm like, oh my god, yes, like good for
I
you.
know.
Like we know a girl, Megan Cowdy, she set like up a nail, like got a nail qualifications and stuff, but obviously
Yeah,
hasn't been able to really do them. So then she was selling like the press on nails and
I
stuff.
know. It's such
And
a good idea.
it's like that's just one example, but like I love to see people that, I mean, obviously people you don't know, you see, you follow influencers, whatever, every day on
Yeah,
social media, and this, they've like got a platform to do something. But
yeah,
I think when it's somebody you know, it's like you love it. And I think you've probably got business from people that you might not have spoke to since school, but they've like messaged you and been like, oh, like I'd like,
yeah. It's so
it's
true.
like
I know.
it's like really really good. But
And
yeah,
I think well, it's been lucky with being in lockdown that people have wanted to make birthdays extra special, because we were obviously a bit wary. Like when lockdown continued, we were thinking how many people are going to want like a cake for the birthday. Like obviously it is like an added expense like onto whatever you're doing for someone's birthday. But like I think because of lockdown, people have thought, well, we can't go out, so let's make it like as best we
yeah,
can.
I know this is it. It's like when you're having to do something in the house, it's like what can you
Mhm.
make a bit special, and it's like
I know exactly.
a cake
Yeah.
is just, yeah, amazing. But yes, so you started in May,
Mhm.
and then I mean, God, this is thinking back now, but can you remember how many orders you maybe got in the first month when you started?
Oh, do you remember this? Our first weekend, we started to get like messages, like because obviously when we put it live, like the Instagram, and
Yeah.
we were thinking like, oh, like we hope like people order, like things like that, and then people started a message, and we had about 5 messages at the time, and we were like, oh
This
my
is too
god,
overwhelming. I can't do it.
oh, like, oh, we're gonna do these 5 orders. Like, oh my god, like didn't know what to do. We were like looking at each other, we were like, we can't do this. And then to think like where we are now, like that's like half a day's work or something, and we're just like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's mad. But
But
like, I mean, from when you started, like even like, well, me, Lauren, and Ellie are like a close like knit three. And I remember you'd be like, so and so's ordered, like, so oh my god, remember when we went to school with so and so, they all ordered. And now,
yeah,
literally, me and Lauren message her and be like, Ellie, what's the cake pictures for today? Because we know she will have
you
done that
do.
10, and we're like, send us a preview of what you've done.
It's so true though, when you see little quotes about when they say like ordering from a small business, like it doesn't like help the CEO to buy a new house in Barbados or something. Like it makes you like feel really happy. Like that is honestly what it is. Because you just like, oh my god, like you can't believe people are actually choosing like to order like off someone locally. Do you know what I mean? Because you just think, oh, everyone would just pop down and get a cake. Do you know what I mean? But
Exactly.
like
No,
it does, honestly, it has as well, I think, really like made me want to shop like locally. I know it's such a cliche to say,
no,
but
I think lockdown has definitely.
100%, like especially like all the little online things you can get now, like Etsy, like not on the high street. They're all pretty independent, the sellers on there.
Yeah,
And
for my little brother and sister's birthdays, a couple of things I've literally got wrapped like in the corner of the room. I've ordered some stuff off Etsy from like sellers and stuff in the UK.
Yeah.
And like there was I got seeing this pair of like personalized like dinosaur socks with like scales coming off the back and like the dead funky, and the woman like hand makes them herself, and like she'd like wrapped it all lovely, and she'd like put a note. She was like, thank you so much for supporting, like, and you think like, oh my god, yeah, like when I click like order, like that's someone's like livelihood, that's someone being like, oh, I need to make this for somebody, and that's like used when you get an order. You're like, right, come on, we need to buy the ingredients for this one, and it's
exactly. I think especially when it's when you're almost like part of like someone's like birthday, like 21st, like 40th, all that, like it's like just nice to know, especially like orders for weddings. Like we're having, obviously with this year it hasn't been as many, but we had a few like variations of wedding cakes where people are getting like smaller like chocolate like drip cakes, so then they could have it on like a wedding dessert table, like that kind of thing. We had a few of them, and it's just like to think that people would be at the wedding and think, oh, the cake's like lovely, do you know?
Like for someone to be there and be like, who done your cake?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like,
I know.
to be like, yeah, like this business, and be like, oh
Yeah,
god,
exactly.
I actually have that. But no, it's like, it's absolutely brilliant. Like I say, I'll pop some like photos and bits up, and obviously go and have a stalk of their Instagram and follow them. But I mean, I remember at the beginning when like you got the logo and everything, and you were like saying to me and Lauren, you were like, right, it's live, so like we were sharing it, and like we were watching your followers go up, and you got like 100 followers. We're like, oh my god, you've got 100 followers, and then like and then like when you hit 1,000 followers and you've done that like little giveaway and that, and it's like, I mean, now you're nearly on 2,000, and you think like for a small business, it is just word of mouth, isn't it? So I think
I do think that's like the best thing, like word of mouth, because people trust other people's opinions, and especially if it's someone you know, like if your friends ordered a cake or like a family member, you sometimes like reviews can seem a bit like almost like fabricated, but when someone's actually saying it, you really do believe it. So I definitely think like for other people who were like worried about like followers or anything like that, honestly, like if your followers and not your customers, there's no point having 10,000 or 100. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
You can have
sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, you could have 100,000 followers, but they all might be based in South Africa, so it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
You need customers as well.
Yeah.
It's like, even to give an example of like a local situation, so like my friend Evie, who I work with, like lives on the other side of town, so like if she was ever to order a cake, she wouldn't look in the Chelsea Street area. But because Evie met you at my birthday, obviously you did my birthday cake, and then like sort of knows you through me anyway, she's like ordered a cake for her mum, and like, and he'll come and get it from you. But like that would have been a situation where she would have probably never come across your page, because she wouldn't have been like looking there. So it shows like I was a bit of like the middleman to connect that, and then she'll say to her family, oh, I've got a cake from Ellie, blah blah blah, and it's like it reaches like a wider.
I know. It's crazy when you think about it, but it's just like, it's so good for small businesses to like get themselves out there, like just all that's like just like promotion without promoting, because you're just like doing your job, aren't you? And then other people like it and pass it on. So
yeah, definitely. And I mean, Ellie, obviously people won't know this, but Ellie like still and Eve still live at home with the mum and dad, so basically they've like took over the family kitchen to run the business. So was there like, I mean, obviously I know now your mum and dad will be completely used to it, and like they're so proud of you, but at the start when you did start to get busy, was there a bit of a like, oh my god, you just can't be doing this in here?
Well, when we first started, obviously the weather was so nice and stuff, so everyone was just outside all the time. So we kind of just were in the kitchen, which was like great. Like we had our own space and everything like that. But now it's literally like you're not coming in the kitchen, and it's like sometimes like we'll have family arguments, and my mom's like, "Well, this is my kitchen, not your kitchen," and we're like, well, what am I meant to do? But like I would honestly, like I just would say anyone just keep it tidy, and then they can't say anything. So like literally like no matter what time we're finished, we're literally like scrubbing the floor, like getting everything back to normal. So when they come down in the morning, it's like we've never been there.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it's just like my mum's got all of her cupboards with like obviously our stuff in, and we've like just slowly adopted like a cupboard at a time. So we've just got like our stuff now.
Yeah.
It's just taken over. But
yeah, I mean, like your little, like Ellie's got this cupboard in our kitchen. It's like sort of like a walk-in cupboard, and that was always like where the crisps and the tins.
Yeah, exactly. Like the over.
That's now just bacon. That's like, there's not a crisp in sight.
There's definitely not. Sometimes we'll like ask all the kitchen rolls in there.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
That's it.
Yeah, but I mean, over Christmas, like, you were so busy, and like Ellie was sending us photos, and like there wasn't like a spare bit of workspace that you could see because it was just covered in boxes of cakes.
It was crazy. It honestly was. Like, I feel like we felt a bit like scarred for life after them 2 days. Like, we had this whole plan of what we were going to offer for New Year. We were thinking, you know, people staying in would do like a set box for New Year. Like, and then it got like the days in between Christmas and New Year, and we were like, we cannot physically bake any more things. So we give ourselves like a good like. I think we were off for like a week, and then we just came back like a couple of days in January.
Yeah, I think you would have like been really, I think you probably, the thing is as well, I was going to say like really run down, but it's like when it's something you enjoy, it's like you don't want to get at the stage where you like hate it.
Yeah, that's
because you've like run yourself down so much. So it's like you've got to get a healthy balance, don't you, of being like we did this in the first place because we're like to do it. So you like you can't like lose that. Because I mean, you're just like honestly so busy, but like it's a good thing, really. Like obviously,
definitely. Like I wouldn't change it for the world, but it's like as you say, like you don't want to forget why you started in the first place, because you also don't want to become like a massive like chain production where you're just rolling out boxes of cupcakes. You know what I mean? Because everyone's different, everyone likes different things, so you want to have that like bespoke element to it. You don't want to just like one shape fits all kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Was there any like nervousness or anything from you like after having such a busy Christmas and then sort of taking that week off thinking like, oh my god, what if like no one's interested in the new year?
Like we did say people that we hadn't started taking orders again in January, because obviously we just wanted to give ourselves a break, and obviously like as we're going at the minute, we don't know when I'll be back to work, or we don't know when Eve will be back to sixth form full time, so obviously we have got to like just limit like what we can do until we find out ourselves. So like at the minute we're kind of just working on like a 3 month like in advance kind of thing, because I feel like for 3 months with the current situation not a lot's going to change. You know what I mean? So we're just kind of doing that, but like so far so good. But you just hope that it's one of them things where I feel like a lot of people would have said this before the pandemic. Like I think a wedding dress shop would always say, oh well, there's always going to be weddings, I'm never going to be out of business. Do you know what I mean? Like, or I don't know, like even clothes shops would be like, people need clothes. Do you know what I mean? You never thought you'd get hit with the bit where no one could do anything. So I feel like you just gotta be happy for whatever you can take. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And I think you have done amazing this thus far, and I mean you'll always have like me and Lauren as customers, even if like you decide that you weren't going to do it anymore, it would always be just
I know.
Like, I need a cake. In fact, I said, wasn't it like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I'm so happy that I've just got someone to make cakes for the rest of my life.
Yeah, actually.
I was like, for baby like kids' birthdays, my birthdays, weddings, everything. I was like, I've just got someone to make it.
I know. Brilliant. Well, I think like our little cousin, like mine and Eve's little cousin, Dexter, he like loves the fact that he can tell us what he wants, and then like we just make it into it, because like obviously trying to tell a cake maker this is what he requested for his birthday last year. So my grandparents have a little Jack Russell called Tiny, and Tiny is only about this big, and he wanted a cake about Tiny. So we had to do like, he wanted it blue and green. What we did, he only wanted sweets on the side, so we did this. But we got this topper made by this amazing girl. It's Ashley Elliott Designs if you need any toppers. She made a topper with a picture of actual Tiny dog on it, and then we made a tiny little fondant.
It was dog as well. I mean, when Ellie was sending us, when she was doing the cake, and she sent us a photo of the little fondant dog, but this is before she told us it was like for Dexter and that, and I just thought it was for like a normal customer, and I was like, oh my god, it looks like Tiny, and you literally replied being like, I'm so glad you've said that, because that is who it's supposed to be.
I know, that's the thing, like, never in my life had I ever made anything out of fondant before, and here I am making dogs. I was making fishes yesterday, like
oh my god. Yeah.
But I know, but it's like a total just like learn on the job. Like my whole TikTok feed is just cake making things. My just whole like YouTube recommended is cake making things. My Instagram explore page is cakes. Like it's just my life has took over.
But it just, the thing is though, like you were saying, like if you think how much you have learned from last year to now.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's mint, and it's just like constant practice, isn't it?
I know. Well, there's even stuff like we did in the past, like our techniques that we don't do now, because we just think, like, we don't know how it even works for us. But now that's the whole point of learning, isn't it? Because you just learn like through trial and error, and like
definitely mint. And do you find, has it affected, I mean, god, evil killers here, but do you think it's affected your relationship, like you and Eve? Do you think it's been like beneficial, or do you think like you're very aggy with each other now?
I think for anyone that knows us, like we're all really close anyway, because like there is 6 years between us, which is quite a big age gap for some people, but like we always have been like really close anyway. But we do have two like totally different personalities, where I feel like I'm very like chatty and like easygoing, like that kind of thing, but Eve is like feisty, like she is. So I feel like I'm just getting bossed around 24/7. Like it should totally be the other way around. But to be honest, like we do have like little bickering arguments, but where you'd work with like a colleague and you'd have to like bite your tongue, we don't bite our tongue with each other, so then it's almost better because we just say it how it is. And then we'll just have like a little like 5-minute like drama, and then and then we'll be done.
Yeah, I remember, I can't remember when it was, but it was like sometime last year. I feel like it was probably in the beginning stages of when you'd started, and I think I was on FaceTime here about something and you were baking, and I remember your mum was like in the background and she was like, Ellie, I've told them, she was like, if they're going to keep going like this, they're not doing it. They're not doing it. I've told them they're not doing it.
That was honestly for like the first like few weeks, that was just like a regular thing in like our house, because
it's just
like
in your feet though, isn't it? It's like 100%. Boundaries, like
and then like now we'll have like a proper like routine of what each of us do, so we'll work in like a production line almost.
Like you know what you're doing.
So like that's so much better now, but obviously in the beginning we were probably both fighting over wanting to do the same things and like that kind of thing. But Eve's just like a point blank refuser. Like if I'm just like, do you want to just like tidy up them little things, she's just like, no. She'll probably kill us.
That's not my job spec.
That's what she'll say. She'll probably one day write us out a contract of the things that she's allowed to do.
Oh no, but I think it is good, and as well, it like it's like a unique selling point in terms of a business as well, isn't it? Like if you put your business hat on, like having like two sisters like have a bit like a bacon thing, like it's really good, because if you think really, if it was like two friends or something, like in COVID, how would you have worked it? Because
I know, that's the thing,
like there'll be so many businesses that probably like went in maybe to a kitchen or like to a space, and you think, well, what do you do? Because like it's lucky that like you live together and like you've managed to do it like that, because it's like,
I think like especially with lockdown, like we have spent a lot of time with each other. It's maybe like that's where like the arguments stem from. But it's so funny. Like when we look back at what we argued on that day, we're just like, what were we even arguing?
Yeah, it's one of them things as well, because you're sisters, it's like not personal. Whereas it's like if someone like had a go at you at the workplace, you'd come home and you'd be like, oh my god, what a bitch. But because it's your sister, it's like, you forget it in an hour's time. Like it's totally fine.
But it's so like, it is so nice working with your sister, because you just think, well, like, who else would you rather work with? Do you know what I mean? Like,
especially when you're so close as well, it's like, and you've got like now like so many memories and like pictures and stuff to like show kids in the future to be like, look what me and your auntie did. Like, well, hopefully you're still doing it, but yeah, like just to like show and even evidence like all the stuff yous have done. Like you've got photos of like every cake you've made. Like that's mad.
I know.
It's an achievement. I mean, all your camera roll is full of cakes. You're gonna.
I know. I had to start deleting some. I was like, if they're on the Instagram, I don't need them.
I
just don't need them. I started getting pictures like developed, because I was thinking, you know, like our age generation doesn't really like get pictures developed. And then so I like selected all the ones that I wanted developed, like obviously ones of us, like ones of like family, like. There was 17,000. I was like, I don't need 17,000 pictures.
I mean, probably about 10,000 of them will be cakes.
Yeah, I know.
Taking like 50 photos for one cake.
From the same angle, like all the time.
That's it as well with Ellie. Like, obviously, I know this, but like, you are like quite a perfectionist when it comes to stuff like that. So, like, Ellie, like, I know firsthand that Ellie would not take like 2 photos of a cake and be like, we'll post that. Like, I know fine well she'll take about 50 and she'll sit and she'll analyse them before she posts them.
I do. And then I'll send them to Eve and I'll be like, what do you think of this one? And she's like, yeah. And I'm just like,
I've spent an hour taking these, but thanks.
Exactly. See, because I put the photos on the Instagram, like I do the Instagram and Eve does the TikTok, what we've got. So like she's got full reign of that, but I feel about 90 because I don't even know what I'm doing on TikTok.
Yeah, I don't.
But then I do the Instagram, but she's just like, yeah. And I'm just like, okay.
All right, no bother. Well, I mean, we've talked obviously about Yvel, which is Ellie's and Eve's business adventure, but I thought is like a little thing at the end, because me and Ellie have known each other for so long. I thought it would be quite good to like ask some questions. So I've like just found some random ones, and I'm gonna like pick ones that I feel like will be a good answer, right? So I mean, there's some crappy ones here which we'll go past, but I think this is a good one. Who would you invite to a fantasy dinner party, and they can be dead or alive?
Oh,
I feel like this is such a it's a very loaded question, because it could be anybody.
It could be anyone. I know. So how many can I have?
Let's just say, well, I mean, we'll be here all day if we do like 5. Let's just say like 2 people you definitely want to be there.
Right. Let us think.
I feel like I might answer one for you.
Right, go on then. I've got him in head.
Sam Fender.
Well, that was number 1. So
I knew it. Ellie is obsessed with Sam Fender. Sam Fender, local lad. Ellie single, if you want to.
Not even afraid to admit it, but
yeah, you do love a bit of Sam Fender.
That might be my only opportunity that I'd ever meet him.
Yeah.
Unless I bumped into him in Time Out, which my cousin actually did. He was fixing. Yeah. He was fixing a roof, and he was on the roof fixing it.
You would have jumped up that ladder.
Yeah. Like Sam! Oh no. And then I know. I feel like my second person's also a singer.
Is it a man or a woman?
It's a woman.
Oh, let's think if I could guess this. Old or young?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it's Amy Winehouse.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know why? Because when I was younger, I loved her music. Like, honestly, loved it.
She was amazing.
I would even wear them little flat on the floor ballet pumps like all the time because she would wear them. Like, I loved that like style, and I feel like I'd have so many questions to ask her.
Yeah, I feel like she'd tell you some cracking stories.
Yeah, she definitely would.
Like, bless her, she died far too young. But yeah, she would be a very good one. Also, I feel like her and Sam Fender would get on.
Yeah, I do.
That would be like a good combination of people.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
like,
be perfect.
you could just be sat in the middle. Like, who would you say mine were?
100% Beyonce.
Yeah, Beyonce was the obvious choice there. Sometimes I think like I'm really like mysterious and I'm not that predictable, but I'm literally the most predictable person. I'm trying to think who my second one would be though. Oh, I do have the second one actually. I mean, you wouldn't guess this, so I'm just gonna say it. But I feel like Michelle Obama would be a great one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she'd tell you some good secrets.
Definitely.
And she's like quite sassy, and she loves Beyonce anyway. So having the three of them, that would be
3 Beyonces in the same.
3 Beyonce. I mean, I'd definitely be the Michelle, wouldn't I? Of the Destiny's Child round up there. Oh gosh, no, that's a good one though. I think that they sometimes ask that at like job interviews, like who would you?
Like then I feel like you'd have to say someone like
like someone relating to the job, be like, oh, obviously the CEO of this company would be my first choice. Like, shut up.
Definitely.
Right, right, okay, this is a good one for both of us because we've had a few. Which fashion decision was my biggest mistake?
What? So we've got to say it about each other?
Yeah, let's do it about each other. I'm trying to think with you though. I'm trying to think of maybe like, and I think let's do it of like beauty, like all round, like it can be anything from head to toe.
Okay, right.
I mean,
I think
you've got to be joking. I can think of one for myself straight off. That's like a beauty thing.
Why can't I think?
Right, well, to be fair, a lot of ours are probably cohesive because it was like trends and you did things. Yeah. So I would say we've both been through some cracking eyebrow stages.
100%.
I mean, there's been a lot of blocky, dark brows over the years.
Horrendous. I'm actually going to out myself on a story here, what I used to do with my brows.
What?
In year 7, I was so bad at doing my brows, and they used to take us that long that I used to do them the night before. So I used to do them on the night, right?
Not know this.
Does anyone remember the little Benefit wax thing, and it was called like bronzings or something, and it had a wax and a powder. All as I used to use was this wax, and I was so bad at doing them, I had to do them the night before because they would take us about an hour.
Did they not smudge them?
Well, no, because they were like wax. They were probably
like stuck down.
Yeah, but they were so blocky. Horrendous.
There was a period of time. No, I'm not even joking. I drew mine with black eyeliner. No, like jet black coal pencil eyeliner. Like what? There are some photos of me. Oh my god! I'll see if I can. Like, I'll try and find one. And I've like, it's like round, so it's like a sperm at the front, and it's just black. And I would say, horrendous. But there's that, and I would say the bouffant hair.
I feel like how could I forget the bun that I used to wear?
The bird's nest bun. The bubba.
Like now, I never used to wear my hair down. That was the problem.
Yeah, you didn't. You always wore your hair in a bun.
Up in this like bird's nest bun, no matter where we were going. If I was going to Tesco, I'd have the bun. If I was going I was going to say night out, but it would have been a studio party.
Yes.
That would be wearing. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I remember thought it was just like, even our friendship group, like if anyone's listening from our like school friendship group, all the girls were the same, all had hair that was like I remember if I had my hair down straight, right, I'd have my hair slicked straight, and then I'd like back comb these bits, and like honestly, I'm not joking, like came out here like that, and like I'd have to put about 5 bobby clips in each side and just keep. And it was like, I mean, now look how trends have changed. Like, I literally couldn't have my hair more sleeker if I tried. Like, if someone told me in year 7 you're going to be wearing a sleek bun, I'd be like, no, I will not.
The thought of having like a tat in my hair gives us like, I'm like,
anxiety.
Because I always wear a curly, it has to be like smooth. I'm just like,
like I don't know how I did that, because now even if I come in from a walk and when your hair's like you can tell you've been outside, it's like tatty, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to brush my hair. So how I used to walk around with it, like,
I know.
I don't know how all our hair didn't fall out.
I know. Like I don't know if it was because I had really thick hair anyway.
Yeah.
It was just a mess probably all the time, like
All the
a
time.
big tatty mess. Oh.
Yeah, I feel like there too. I mean, I know the sort of beauty things, but fashion choices that were just questionable. In terms of like actual fashion clothes, I can't think of like anything specific. I mean, I look back on outfits and I'm like, what the hell was that?
I feel like we all went through the bodycon skirt with like a blouse.
A black bodycon skirt with a blouse in like chunky platform heels to like a studio party. Yeah. Oh my god, remember when people used to wear, I'm saying people, like I'm including myself in this, when people used to wear the heels with the white socks with frills on?
Yeah. What
was that? Why wouldn't you get dressed and say, I'm going to put a skirt on and put some socks, bright white socks with frills and heels on?
I know. I just can't.
Horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Right, let's move on before I get more PTSD.
Yeah.
This is a good one that came up that sort of reminded us of like us throughout the years, because it sort of relates to like house parties and stuff. But is there a smell that reminds you of me?
Oh,
I would say for you, we might have the same one, but one is like the Juicy Couture perfume.
Always. Do you want us to just display some bottles that I have?
Right. This, look, and it's like, it's the thing is, right, it's actually such a nice smelling perfume. But there was a period of time where we all just used to wear it.
Oh,
and it just in like
I still love it.
Party,
it's still one of my favorite like perfumes. Like at Christmas and stuff, like family always gets it because they know that I love it. But it is see, for me, it's not that, it's Beyonce Heat, the original one. That's what gets me of like the house parties. Like the smell of it now, I think would actually make us.
Yeah, that could knock me up. Isn't it weird how like smells associate you with certain things where you could be like
now, you always like the smell of you is always that Marc Jacobs perfume in the green bottle.
Yeah. Marc Jacobs Decadence is lovely. It's the one, for anyone that doesn't know, it's like I'm like looking at the bottle to try and describe it. It's like a dark green bottle with like a tassel on, like a handbag, and it smells like Parma violets. It's like delicious. But yeah, Juicy Couture just reminds me of you. I mean, that proved my point there when you sat next to two bottles. So.
Yeah, I know.
Right, let's have a look. Oh, this is a good one. What do I order at a bar?
Oh.
Let's do like a civilized drink and then like a night out drink.
Okay. So I feel like for a civilized drink, if we were going for food, you'd order a rosé or a prosecco.
Yeah.
But if we were going for like cocktails, you'd order like a porn star martini.
Yeah.
But then if we were going like on a night to get drunk, you'd order like a vodka lime and soda.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that was pretty spot on.
Or like a gin.
Like a gin and lemonade. But yeah, no, that was pretty spot on. For you, if we were having food or something, see, sometimes it depends for you. If it's like in the summer or something, sometimes you like a pint with your food, like a Moretti or something. If you're like, and then like if we're in a beer garden or something. But if you were getting a cocktail, oh god, you'd get a zombie. Oh my, this woman, honestly, this woman and zombie.
I just don't even. I like the taste of them. That's
how like it's actually psychotic, right? It's psychotic. Because me and Lauren will literally be sat there with our porn stars and she looks at the menu and me and Lauren look at each other and we're like, she's getting a zombie. Like, why is she looking at the menu? And you go, oh, I think I'll get a zombie. And we're like, what is the smell? It's got about 6 different types of alcohol in it.
Oh, so nice. I think the
paralytic.
The nicest ones, definitely.
Yeah. And then if you were on like a night out, if we were in like a club, you'd probably get like a gin and lemonade, maybe.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, well, we used to drink vodka blackcurrant lemonade.
Oh, yeah, that gives, with that mixed with the Juicy Couture and the Beyonce Heat, gives me like.
I don't know what it is about blackcurrant cordial in clubs, but it's like thicker.
Yes, it's like
like,
puree. It's
yeah,
like jam.
it's like syrupy.
Yeah.
You have like a blackcurrant vodka and lemonade and you're like, oh,
I know.
it's like a cake and a drink. But yeah, I'll probably say that. I'm saying like as if we were in a club, like when's the next time we would ever go to a club?
God, I'll be 23 by the time we get out of the
I
club.
seen a tweet that was like, I won't need ID the next time I go out because I'll be 37 or something.
I think I read that on Facebook.
Right, let's do one more. Right, let's see. I'll pick a good one. Let's see. There's some good ones on here. Oh, right. You've got an hour to spend £5,000. Where would you go?
Oh.
I'm trying to think where.
Oh, I think I know.
Right, go on then.
Well, I'd have to go. Couldn't be in Newcastle. I think I'd have to go to like London, and then I'd go straight to Cartier and buy a love bracelet because I've always wanted one. That is like my life goal, to buy myself one.
How much are they? They're like £3 grand. Is it
3 or 5 maybe for the bracelet?
Actually, I think the ring might be like 3, so the bracelet probably is about 5.
Or I'd buy a Chanel bag.
Yes.
That's another thing.
Oh,
I mean, that's very materialistic. Like I could say I'd take my family on holiday or something.
Nah, straight to London, see you later. If I had £5 grand straight away, what would I spend? It's one of them where it's like it's a big chunk of money, but then it's not enough to be like, I'd run away. So it's
I know. Yeah.
like, what would I do with I think I probably would go to London and go to like Harrods or something.
Yeah.
And just like get a bag or some shoe or just be able to go in and be like, yes, I'll have those wire slashes and be like, I do have the money. Like do a Gemma Collins and be like, I've got money. Like yeah, probably something materialistic, or maybe like go on a really nice holiday. Be like, that would be like the dream. I mean, just anything at the minute.
I'd want to go to like the Maldives, and like £5 grand would probably only get like half of me. I know.
So, oh my god, you know them like the floating like Maldives huts.
Yeah, like the on stilts ones.
Have you ever checked the prices on there? I went on the website once when I think like Molly May went or someone, and it was like, and it said like £1,500, and I was like, what the hell? That's so reasonable. And then it was like a night. I was like, oh right. I thought that was like for like 5 days. I was like, what the hell? I thought it would be much more than that. I was like, no, per night. I was like,
You can have like slides coming off the side and everything.
I mean,
it just sounds like
it's the absolute dream. But yes, well, I mean, thank you for having. I mean, I was going to say I think we'll end it here because I feel like I finish every podcast episode by going, I'll end it here because I've been rabbiting on for however long, but it's actually true.
I feel like me and you put together is like the worst
combo to try and get something done. So, but no, thank you so much, Miss Ellie, for being my guest. And yeah, like I say, everyone, I'll like link all the Evel stuff, and please, if you're in the northeast area and you're near Ellie, please order a cake because her and Eve are just brilliant, and you'll see by the Instagram that they're amazing as well. But yeah, I'll leave all that below. And yes, thank you so much, Ellie.
You're very welcome.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
You have been listening to C Cups and Teacups, the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you download, stream and follow, and there'll be lots more episodes coming soon.